You can drill a technique 100 times perfect but freeze when an attack comes from an unexpected angle. The problem isn't your effort, it's how you train. Here is the science of adaptation. Most martial arts training stops at repetition. You practice a block against a punch from the same distance, same angle, same speed until it feels automatic. But real violence doesn't follow a script. When the attack changes, a feint, a different range, a shift in timing, that automatic response breaks down. The issue isn't muscle memory, it's that you've only trained for one specific condition. You've learned a technique, not a problem-solving framework. To adapt, you need to understand what makes each attack different and how to adjust your response accordingly. This starts by recognizing that not all training is equal. Isolated drills build a foundation, but they don't build adaptability. You need a progression that forces your brain to process, discern, and decide under changing conditions. That progression is what we teach here at MCMA. We start with isolated conditions. This means one specific attack from one specific distance and angle, repeated until the correct response becomes automatic. For example, a straight punch from close range. You drill the parry and counter until you can execute it without thinking. But this isn't mindless repetition. You're ingraining the cause and effect relationship between the attack's elements, distance, angle, timing, and your response. You learn to recognize which arrangement of biomechanical and combative elements requires which precise action. This builds perfect pattern recognition for a single scenario. Without this foundation, you can't move forward. But if you stop here, you'll plateau. You'll be the student who can perform in a controlled drill but falls apart when the attack varies. So we don't stop. We build on this base to develop discernment. Once isolated responses are automatic, we introduce variable conditions. Now you face multiple known scenarios in sequence. For instance, a high strike followed by a takedown attempt. The challenge shifts from repetition to discernment. You must quickly identify which condition you're facing and access the appropriate solution. This develops the critical skill of resetting and reevaluating between engagements, a skill most martial arts completely overlook. You're no longer just reacting, you're processing. You're applying what we call processing elements to categorize the attack and select the right response. This trains your brain to switch gears fluidly, without hesitation. Variable conditions bridge the gap between static drills and the chaos of real conflict. They teach you to think under pressure, not just react. This is where you start becoming a strategist, not just a technician. The final level is random conditions. Here, you face any attack from your known series in unpredictable order. You can't anticipate the next move. You must adapt in real time. This is the ultimate test of fight intelligence. You continuously process incoming data, distance, angle, timing, intent, and categorize it against known conditions. Then you execute the appropriate response without hesitation. Random conditions mirror the chaos of real violence while providing a framework to navigate it successfully. You're no longer asking, which technique do I use? You're analyzing the elements. What does the opponent's structure reveal? What is their intent? This elemental understanding allows you to generate effective responses even to attacks you've never specifically trained for. You understand principles, not just patterns. This is what separates competent practitioners from truly adaptive problem solvers. Our curriculum follows this progression exactly. First, mechanics and basic skill development. You master your own biomechanics and learn elemental responses to isolated conditions. You drill until the fundamentals are second nature. Next, integrated skill development. Through structured partner drills, you progress through variable conditions, developing discernment and fluid transitions between responses. Finally, random application. You test your skills against unpredictable attacks, developing the calm, analytical approach that defines a true practitioner. This systematic approach ensures that every student develops adaptive intelligence for real-world self-defense. The confidence you gain isn't based on hope. It's based on proven performance across the full spectrum of combative conditions. You move from knowing techniques to understanding violence. The ultimate goal isn't just to handle random attacks. It's to develop a mind that remains calm and analytical under pressure. When you've faced hundreds of variations in training, when you've successfully navigated from isolated to variable to random conditions, the uncertainty that creates fear in others becomes just another problem to solve. You're not relying on hope or luck. You're relying on a proven framework. You've trained your brain to process, discern, and decide. This transforms you from someone who knows techniques into someone who understands combat. The confidence that comes from this training is earned through systematic progression, not wishful thinking. You become a problem solver, not a memorizer. Stop drilling techniques in isolation. Train the progression. Isolate, vary, randomize. Build adaptive intelligence. Come train with us at MCMA.